Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is a little tardy, but if you have been following along, which I know a lot of you are, I appreciate you so much, even when my videos seem to kind of come to an abrupt halt. It's just a day in the life. But I have been substitute teaching at my kids' school full time, and it is proving to be a lot. Mad props to those of you out there that work a 9 to 5 and you still find time to cook dinner and clean your house and do laundry and get your children to all of the things they need to get to. My kids, I have 3 kids and they are involved in a lot after school. So I'm a little behind in life now, but I did want to we are kicking it back to February, y'all. I'm going to share my top 25 sales from February because I do a lot of hauls on this video, out of practice. I do a lot of hauls, things from the Goodwill bins, the regular Goodwill, buy, sell, trade stores. And while that's great, I still think that you should see, do I actually sell these things and for how much? So we are gonna go back over my top 25 sales. I will toss a picture right here of them. I will let you know where they sold, what I paid for them, and how much they sold for. So let's get right into it. I picked up a Daniel Rain Anthropologie New Tags, I believe it was a plus size dress from Style Encore during one of my bins trades and trade for better items to sell. I did pay $18 in trade credits for it, but it sold for $83.70 on eBay. So not too bad, and it sold within the 60 days. I picked up a Boss men's black embroidered pullover. I pulled that out of the bins back in October. I definitely did not get it listed right away, and it also sold on eBay for $57.75. I found Eileen Fisher in the bins. Now this was a small or extra small. I would not have paid up for this at the thrift store, but I certainly wasn't going to leave it behind at the bins for an average of $2 per piece when they hit right at that pound mark. And it sold also on eBay. My top 3 sales for February came from eBay. So I'm really grateful that about a year ago, I decided to start cross-listing there. It sold for $55. I picked up a pair of Veronica Beard shorts probably 2 years ago. I was just really excited to finally find the brand. I am still on the hunt for the blazer, but I did pay up at $15 for these shorts, but that paid off 2 years later with a $55 Poshmark sale. I traded at Once Upon a Child, and although it was a $14 trade-in with some items from the bins, I picked up a Patagonia infant jacket, a reversible jacket. It sold on Poshmark for $52. So I know some resellers are saying don't pick up Patagonia anymore, but especially like the kids items, they are still selling, and they're still selling for good money. So I will never tell you guys do not pick up something, just sharing what's selling for me. All right, out of a fun box, this was a surprising sale. I have had this pair of underwear that came out of a fun box listed since January of 2022. $5 into it, and it finally sold, hey, for $50. So a pair of underwear didn't take up much space to keep around. It sold on Poshmark. I priced according to comps at the time, and I don't really go in and lower prices of things. I will send 30, 40, 50% off offers. I do what someone calls the waterfall style of offers on like maybe every other weekend. And I believe that was a full price, or maybe I do use Posher VA, shameless plug. I do send 20% offers after, I think, 7 minutes. I do have a 20% discount code. Here it is. Thank you to all of you guys that use that. Because it does end up making my subscription free, which once you sign up, you get your own code that you can share with somebody. So I do appreciate the few of you that have used my code. I do also use List Perfectly, and some of you guys have used my code also. Thank you so much. I love List Perfectly. All right, actually, let me share with you guys, because I'm working basically full-time for the next couple of weeks, when I sit at my computer and I open up List Perfectly and I tell it to go ahead and, cross-list to things, as long as I have pushed that button and it is open in a tab on my computer, it automatically goes to my drafts on eBay. I don't want to share with you how long before I figured that out. So I don't even have to do anything once I click the item and tell it to share or cross-list. when I get to school and I have time in the mornings or time during my planning period, I can open up eBay and it's there in my drafts. Perfect. All right. Next was another Style Encore flip. If you've watched my videos where I take the items and I show you what I'm picking up at the bins and then what I'm trading for at the buy sell trade stores, they had the brand Lake, L-A-K-E, like you swim in a lake. They had this priced at $13 because it's a brand that they currently don't have in their system. It is very expensive. It was this blue dress and it sold very quickly, like within less than a week of listing for $48 on Posh. I have a Lake, a lounge set, they call it. It's a sweatshirt and sweatpants. Paid, I think, $20 total at Goodwill. They were each $9.99. I think it's close to $200 retail. It is the comfiest outfit I've ever owned, but I can't bring myself to pay retail. All right, costumes. I say list them whenever you have them. Do not wait until close to Halloween. My girls had a Brave, Merida costume from the movie Brave. So this was a personal item, pulled out of my kids' room, and I originally got it for free from a friend, and it sold for $40 on February the 22nd. All right, Madewell, another item. I did pay up for this item at a Goodwill. My rationale was it was $11 at Goodwill. That's cheaper than I would have paid at a buy sell trade store. I know Madewell these days is not doing what it used to do, but if it's what I consider like a trendy style, I will take the time to look it up. The girl jean is still selling very well. And I picked this up on February the 1st. Took me probably a week and a half to get it listed. Sold on February 22nd. So a very quick sale, $11 into a $40 Poshmark sale. These Converse Pride high top sneakers. My sister gave me like a whole bag full of shoes one day. I don't know where she got these from because they weren't her size, but so I had nothing into them, and they sold on Poshmark for $38, which means when I price something at $38, I am hoping that my Posher VA is going to send them a 20% offer, and that means I'm hoping to sell the item for $30. So this was a full price sale. They did not even wait for the offer. We love when that happens. So that was a really great flip. All right, Marine Layer. If you watched my video months ago now, I did my first and only order from Boutique by the Box. I had $14.45 into, they were all Marine Layer pieces. They were all brand new with the tags. I did make my money back very quickly with that box. So now everything that I'm selling is profit. So I have been sending pretty good offers and kind of accepting any offers that I get on the items. And I sold this Corvette reversible men's pullover for $38 on Poshmark. Posh Peanut, a kid's brand that you need to pick up. If it is $6 or less, I'm picking it up. And this was a Disney pajama set. Posh Peanut did a collaboration with Disney. I had $4 into it from Once Upon a Child, which means I probably paid nothing out of pocket because I did a trade from the bins and sold for $36.40 on eBay. Lululemon Pace Rival Crops. These were out of my own personal closet. It's one of those times where I found a different pair at the thrift store and I wanted to keep for myself. So I didn't like how these, they kind of folded down when I would wear them. I don't know. But they sold for $35 on Poshmark. And I know I didn't pay $35 on whatever I decided to keep. Native, it is not a what sold video here on this channel unless I sell a pair of Native kids shoes. These were Mickey Mouse, size 13 little kid, came from Once Upon a Child. I did pay $6 for them. They sold for $31.60 on eBay. This Venus sequins pink dress, my stepmom, like basically if you are a reseller, you should be telling everyone in your small circle that, hey, before you take stuff to the thrift store, can I have it? And my stepmom brings me maybe, let's say 4 trash bags full of stuff whenever she does a clean out. And I might keep 10 total items. I'm gonna go to the thrift store anyway. I don't mind donating items. And I pull stuff out to sell. This was an example, so I had nothing into it and it sold for $30, which, hey, that's $24 after all of the fees. So I will take it. Oh, no barking. All right, I sold another Marine Layer item. So $14.45, I don't know if I told you, was my cost of goods per piece. This one I sold on Poshmark for $30. It was a floral smocked long sleeve top. many moons ago. If you are an oldie subscriber here, you might remember back in April of 2023, I picked up a slew of Starbucks cups. This was before the Stanley craze. I listed exactly 4 of them, and the rest of them are still in my death pile. I know, but I had $6.23 into them. At this point, I might be using them as like party favors for one of my kids' birthday parties eventually if I don't get them listed, because unfortunately they're not as valuable now as they were 2 years ago, but I did still sell this one for $30 on Poshmark. Another Marine Layer item. Marine Layer is a brand I decided to pay up for these items because I have found it once at the bins, a couple times at the thrift store, and it always sells and sells quickly and for good money. So I own a couple pieces, and if you don't, it's worth it. It's good quality, it's comfortable. So this one came from that same Boutique by the Box, sold for $29 on Poshmark. I had a plethora of the brand Peek. I've talked about it before, P-E-E-K. For kids, my son, he's in 8th grade now, about to go off to high school. There are 6 weeks left of school. I'm a little sad about it, but he had this many graphic shirts. They make some really cool graphic shirts. This was a Don't Crack Under Pressure, and it was like the Platonics. It was a cool shirt. And I went back and traced, he wore it at least 3 times. I originally paid $10 on Mercari for it, and I ended up selling it on Poshmark for $28. So if you find these graphic tees, especially like there's one that has Abraham Lincoln, there's a couple Disney ones, take the time to look them up, even if they have some cracks in the graphics. Some people really seek out this brand and they are willing to pay up for particular ones. So especially also, there's one that has pie on the front, and on Pie Day, one day a year, moms want to dress their kids in this shirt. Trust me, if you're here, y'all know I know a little bit about kids' clothes. That's a good one. So 28 bucks. So even after paying 10 bucks for it, my kid wore it a few times, I still made a profit of $12.40. That's a win. All right, this corduroy plush and book bundle, I did have $2 into this from a local thrift store. I've had this so long, I don't even have a date in my spreadsheet, but it's fine. Finally sold on Posh for Mercari. My first Mercari sale of the video, sold for $27. Yes, because I use List Perfectly, I do still cross list over to Mercari because every now and then I make a decent sale. Doesn't take that much extra time, so there's a couple more. All right, so $27. Goumi, G-O-U-M-I, Goumi. This was a footy bundle of 2 pajamas. I had $6 into them from Once Upon a Child, sold on Poshmark for $24. This is a brand of baby items that I would pay up for. I also have a mom or a women's sized sweater and robe from this brand. The most comfortable items in my closet besides that lake sweatsuit. So great brand. If you are into natural fabrics, I definitely suggest checking them out, even if you wait for some of their clearance sales. Great brand, holds its value. People seek it out. Goumi. Lily Pulitzer, this was something that I bought for my daughter. We had my littlest and my middle and me, we all had matching dresses in this chevron hearts print, but I originally picked this up on Kitizen. I miss Kitizen. For $15, and this dress sold on eBay for $22. So you know what? My daughter wore it one time. So it's like she rented it and I paid 89 cents because I lost 89 cents in this sale. But to me, that means I paid 89 cents for it, right? That's how I look at things. All right, the brand Play, P-L-A-E. I talk about it a lot, but if you're new here, that is a kids shoe brand, Bolo. If you see the brand Play, pick it up. I cannot say the same. They do make adult size shoes. Unless it's really cheap, the adult shoes do not sell as well as the kids shoes. So I know I said I would not tell you never to pick something up. I just wouldn't unless it was at the bins. Then for sure, because they are wonderfully well made. I had $4 into this pair of Mimo sneakers and they sold very quickly on Poshmark for $21. This is a brand that once moms find out about, I'm telling y'all, especially if your kid has to wear uniforms and they need like black shoes, the Emmy sneakers, E-M-M-E, Emmy, they will last you through at least 3 children and then you can still sell them. It's crazy. I don't know how they make these shoes, but they are very well made and worth the money. Even better if you can get them secondhand. And I have 2 more sales for you and they are both, spoiler, the brand Native. These little kids teal miles. Usually I sell the Jeffersons. This is the Miles style. Here they are. Picked these up at Once Upon a Child for $3. They sold on Mercari for $20. Now I do not offer free shipping on Mercari, so Mercari, that is gonna be $20 plus shipping. And the last of my top 25 from February is this pair of native yellow Jeffersons, picked up at a different Once Upon a Child, a different day, for $6. These sold on Poshmark for $19. And that I usually get between 20 and 25. That was probably a day I was sending out some pretty aggressive offers. So those are my top sales. February wasn't too bad. March was better, thankfully, and April started out really, really well. But then I started this full-time gig and I have not been listing, which has absolutely impacted my sales. So it's definitely shown me, like, listing daily, even if you can only list one item per day and cross-list it, do it. Take my advice, do it. Don't go a day without cross-listing just one item. And I do on Poshmark, thankfully, it's rare that I have a day without a sale on Poshmark. I do use my Posture VA to relist 20 items every single day that are over 60 days old. That's what I have it set up to. It does it every morning at 9 a.m. without me even thinking about it. And Poshmark does see those as brand new listings. So I think that definitely helps keep me in the Poshmark game. All right, guys, I appreciate you so much. Thank you to everyone who commented on my last video giving me feedback about Once Upon a Child. I have between 1 and 3 weeks left. A teacher I'm subbing for, I'm waiting for her to get clearance from her doctor. So if it's 1 week, I will have some more bins content for you pretty soon. If it's 3 weeks, it'll be after that, but I promise you more videos like that are coming. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.